So, dear students, let us continue our discussion. This will be the last class on capacitance. So, this is the last problem of capacitance chapter. I have taken only, we are left with only one problem, but I will be giving you few instructions about the classes and also about this particular chapter in this session. Let me go through the question first. A parallel plate capacitor is to be designed with a voltage rating 1 kilovolt using a material of dielectric constant 3. The dielectric strength of using a material of dielectric constant 3 and a dielectric strength of about 10 to the power of 7 volt per meter. So, we do not know how to connect dielectric strength mathematically, right? We have not yet discussed those kind of problems, or we have not encountered that kind of formula also. So, we have the clue given here, okay, in the next part of the question, to connect this unknown dielectric constant factor to known factors, right. So, we will go through this once. Dielectric strength is the maximum electric field of a material which a material can tolerate without breaking down. So, what is breaking down basically? So, breaking down means you might have seen sparks or lightning, right? They are all dielectric breaking, right? What happens is you keep you take a capacitor, connect them to a battery. Say the capacitor has certain ability. Every capacitor will have its own ability to store the charge. If you have a capacitor, if you have such a capacitor which should be connected to a small battery like 2 volt battery or 10 volt battery, 20 volt battery, but what do? You take the same capacitor and connect that to 200 volt supply or 300 volt supply. Then what happens? Due to that excessive voltage or over the high potential difference between the plates, due to that excessive potential difference between the plates, the dielectric medium between the plates, right, you should have the idea, right, you have the idea right now how the capacitor look like. Two parallel plates between which there will be dielectric medium present. Now you you applied such huge potential difference, you connected the capacitor to a huge power supply, so that the plates now start to push more and more charges, and the dielectric medium, which is a non-conductor, starts to allow charges to flow through that, right, which means the medium has broken down. The basic nature of a dielectric medium or a non-conducting medium is to avoid flow of charge, right, which is air. Air is also dielectric medium, right, which does not allow charges to flow through it. But look at lightning, what is happening there? Charges are forced to flow through air due to the high potential difference created between the clouds and the earth, right. The same way, when you connect the capacitor to a very high potential difference, very high power supply, even the dielectric medium, the non-conducting medium existing between the plates will break and hence allow the charges to flow through them. That phenomena is called dielectric, it's called breakdown or corona discharge, okay. So, these are the technical terms, but a particular capacitor breaks down at particular voltage, right. So, that should be kept in mind, and we will move ahead. So, dielectric strength is the maximum electric field a material can tolerate without breaking down, right. Maximum electric field, on what factor does the electric field depend on? Electric field depends on the potential difference that we are providing to the capacitor, right. More the potential difference we provide, more the electric field will be, right. Now, breakdown, that is without starting to conduct electricity through partial ionization, okay. The phenomena that happens is partial ionization. Few of the atoms ionize and the charges are allowed to flow. Now, for safety, we should keep the field never exceed say 10% of the dielectric strength. So, this is the clue which gives us the idea how to connect this dielectric strength and the known factor electric field. The electric field E is known to us, right? But we do not know what is, how is dielectric strength dependent, we did not know actually. How is dielectric strength dependent on any known factor, but we now got the idea through the given clue that dielectric strength of the medium should be kept in such a way that the field should never exceed 10% of the dielectric strength, right? So then what minimum area of the plates is required to have a capacitance of 50 picofarad. Now let me write the given data first, so that we will have clarity in the question. Is to be designed with a voltage rating of 1 kilovolt, which means we need to connect the given capacitor to 1000 volt power supply. Okay, so V is equal to 1000 volt, 1 kilo, using a material of dielectric constant 3, which means epsilon R given is 3, right, and dielectric strength of about 10 to the power of 7 volt per meter. We do not have well defined symbol for dielectric strength. Let me write that as dielectric strength itself. So dielectric strength of the given material given is about 10 to the power of 7 volt per meter. Okay, and from the given data they have mentioned that this E, okay, the electric field should never exceed the value of, should never exceed the 10% of the dielectric strength value. Following? So E should be 10% of dielectric strength, which is 10 to the power of 7. So then E becomes equal to, what is 10% of 10 to the power of 7? It is 10 to the power of 6 Newton per coulomb, right? Yeah, we can make use of one more unit of E, the other unit which can be derived from the formula of E is equal to V by D, right? So now, since the since the electric field setup between the plates of the capacitor is uniform, right, because it's uniformly distributed charge on both the plates, the field will be uniform, and it's parallel plates, sheet, 2 dimensions, so the field should be uniform. So for uniform field like that, electric field E is given by V by D, right, where D is the distance between the plates. So this is the formula which helps us in solving this problem. But what is the actual quantity asked here? The quantity is asked for is what minimum area of the plates is required. Okay, A is equal to question mark, in such a way that we get the capacitance of the capacitor equal to 50 picofarad. Okay, 50 into 10 to the power of minus 12 farad. C, A has to be found. So the capacitance formula C, what is that given by? C is equal to, in the presence of dielectric medium, it is epsilon naught epsilon R A by D, right? In presence of air, it is simply epsilon naught A by D, right? But in presence of dielectric medium, it is epsilon naught epsilon R A by D, right? So from that formula, let me write that formula here. C is epsilon naught epsilon R A by D. Now what we need is A. Do we have C value given? Yes, we have. Do we have epsilon naught? It's a constant, we can write it 8.85 into 10 to the power of minus 12. Do we have epsilon R given? Yes, we have, it is equal to 3. Do we have D given? No, we do not have the value of D given. If we can get D, upon rearranging this equation, we can easily get the expression for area, right? So now our intention should be finding D. So D becomes equal to V by E, right? So which is equal to, D is equal to, what is V? The voltage which it should be connected to is 10 to the power of 3 volt, right? 1000, which I will write it as 10 to the power of 3. And the maximum electric field that should be set is 10 to the power of 6, which makes D is equal to, the distance between the plates is equal to 10 to the power of minus 3 meter, 1 millimeter, right? So this is one intermediate result which will help us in solving the given problem. In order to obtain A, now we have D value, so that upon rearranging this equation, I get A is equal to C D divided by epsilon naught, epsilon r, right? What is C? C is 50 into 10 to the power of minus 12. What is D that we have obtained? It is 10 to the power of minus 3 divided by what is epsilon naught? Epsilon naught is 8.85 into 10 to the power of minus 12 into what is epsilon r given? Epsilon r of the material, the dielectric constant of the material given is 3. So, simplify that, and after simplifying that you should obtain the value of area A is equal to 1.9 into 10 to the power of minus 3 meter squared. Okay, make use of the calculator and get the value of A. So, that is it. This is the solution of the given problem, and normally this kind of question is not asked in your board examination. Okay, board examinations, in your board examinations they will be concentrating the problems on the combination of charges and getting the value of effective capacitance, effective voltage, right, effective potential at a point, right. They put 4 or 5 charges, normally 4 charges of a square, they give you a point, what is the potential at that point, or they can also give you, they will give you 2 points, what is the energy or what is the work one need to do in transferring a charge from a particular point to other particular point. Okay, that is the kind of question that we can expect for boards. And when it comes to capacitors, they will give you an electric circuit where the capacitors will be arranged in different combinations, and hence they will ask you to find the effective capacitance of the combination. And those kind of questions we have solved so many of them, right, and you will be receiving plenty more for homework, and you solve them, that would be enough. These kind of questions are just for your extra awareness, but do not need to worry, this kind of questions are generally not asked in boards. Okay, be clear with that. And I want you to be clear with few points which I thought it should be I should clear these things to you. First one is, while you write the answers for the problems, make sure that you have also written the problems. Okay, write the problem first, then the solution. Okay, because whenever you refer it back, okay, you should have both the question and the solution in a same place. Following? When you have them in the same place, it would be very convenient for you to go through things faster. Following? So, you must write the questions of the problems first, then take down the solutions. Do not put just question number then follow it, because when you want to refer it back, you should not be like keeping both the reference book and the solution book here, looking at the question here, looking at the answer here. That should not happen. Okay. So, that is one thing, write the questions of the problems, then the solutions. Then few students ask me about derivations. See, the derivations that I do is normally in such a way that it connects the physical phenomena properly with the mathematical part. So, when you go through the reference, there might be a little difference in the approach. Okay, there might be a little difference in the symbols that are used there. Okay, so you do not need to worry about them. The approach which you find convenient with. Okay, if you are finding my own approach, my approach of derivation convenient, you can easily write that approach, that derivation, or if you find the derivation given in the text or the reference as convenient one, easy to remember one, easy to practice one, you can also practice that also, right. There won't be much difference as of the concepts are concerned. It's just a matter of few symbols or the steps that we are following. Few steps I'll be doing early, and few steps they choose to keep those steps in the end. So, these things might be happening here and there, but I want you to be clear with the concepts, and the physical phenomena should be connected to mathematical steps properly. So, I follow the flow that I generally used to. But that's the thing, whichever the way you want, either mine or in the reference, you can choose it. Okay, you have the freedom to choose. You will get full mark for writing either this or that. Okay, both are fine. Okay, you will get complete mark on it. But while I derive, I do not write the initial the words or the sentence expansions, like consider a charge of q placed in a point O and another charge of small q brought from infinity to that point. I generally don't write those things on board. You should take the reference from the book for those sentences. You can take them and you follow the rest from the derivation. Okay, clear on that? So you can follow either mine or from the reference, both are fine, nothing to worry. And next is about the left out part of this chapter. Okay, this chapter, particularly electrostatic potential and capacitance, has a part which is Van de Graaff generator. Van de Graaff generator is left out or eliminated in previous from the syllabus last year. Okay, it is actually not there even for your it was not there even for your seniors, right? So it's left out, eliminated from the academic year of 2019-20 itself. Okay, so don't need to worry about that. Van de Graaff generator is eliminated, so that part I won't be teaching you. Okay, so that's eliminated for your board examinations, that's why. And one more important thing, sooner will be conducting a test. Okay, the plans will be given to you. It should be where we'll be planning to give it to your parents, and so that they take the question papers to your home, and in home itself you are going to write the test in a given time. So be prepared for the test. Okay, for both the chapters, the first and the second. Okay, so electric charges and fields and electrostatic potential and capacitance. Since we have two chapters, you can expect the question paper to be set for 50, 60 or even 70 mark. Okay, because whenever we conduct a test for one chapter, we normally set the question paper for 25 to 40 mark, 25 to 40 mark for one chapter if we conduct the test. And since we have two chapters here, so you can expect the question paper to be for 50 or 60 or 70 even. So be prepared, read everything well, prepare on problems. Okay, and yeah, that's it. So if you have any doubts, you can contact, and we'll start the new chapter, current electricity, from the next session. Thank you.